Yet, and the Pledge of Allegiance starts now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for those who are on time. Punctuality is appreciated. So we're going to have to come back to the approval of the minutes if we do get a quorum. I don't have any external communications to talk about. Does anybody else? David, are you not shaking your head? Yes, no?
No, I'm trying to get my picture back.
Rich, my solar people told me that there are battery rebates coming for residential, so I don't know if we'll be able to see more municipal ones as well.
More battery what?
And rebates and incentives.
Yeah, okay. Where did that communication come from?
I always ask them about batteries every couple months to see
Yeah.
like when it, if it ever makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm hearing also a lot more about battery storage. In fact, tomorrow or
Here he is.
tomorrow or Thursday, my company has these internal training sessions, and the next one is going to be on battery energy storage systems. Now, they're not for public distribution, but sometimes I can glean some information from the content of the seminar, and I'll pass it along. Hello, Dan Newsom.
Hello,
Where are you?
I'm at home.
Oh, okay. We took a straw poll to see what time you'd show up, and I said 5 after 7.
Did you win?
It's a little bit later than that. Okay, well, thank you. You're the quorum person, so we could go quickly through the minutes of the June 27th meeting. If everybody has read them, has anything to comment besides me, please speak up. Does anybody have any comments on the previous minutes?
No.
Okay, I do. Of course. On page 3, under D, clean energy, item number 1, new municipal energy efficiency cost savings opportunities. The first paragraph, or the only paragraph, first sentence says, Mr. Gavin shared that rooftop units at the wastewater treatment plant are a good opportunity to explore. To me, rooftop units are, or RTUs are HVAC units, normally electric cooling and gas heating. So that's a little bit, when I read that, I said, I don't remember talking about that, but I know what you're talking about, Dave. You're thinking that maybe we could put solar panels on the roof of some buildings, including the wastewater treatment. So I think that, to clarify, at least in the industry, rooftop units refer to HVAC, heating, ventilation, and cooling. So I'd like you to change that to say roof-mounted solar panels at the wastewater treatment plant may be a good opportunity to explore. Okay, so everybody agree with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
or even some ground mounted too.
But you said rooftop, so that's what.
Yeah, it seems that there seems to be, let's say, sufficient rooftop, and I don't, it's non-used right now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I've got. Is there a motion to accept these minutes as amended by Ryan, seconded by
I will second it.
Dan? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good, all right. Okay, so then the next topic would be the old business, item 6. A, energy efficiency projects. CHP at Cheshire Community Pool utilization, and the letter to Sean Kimball. Last month, I agreed to contact Sean Kimball and express our collective opinion that somebody needs to be designated as the person in charge. I mean, not that they have to be, but we wanted to know who was the person in charge. And as we all surmised, it's John Golick. And that's what Sean says. Now, Sean's response to me was sent to everybody else. Did everybody get Sean's response today? Okay.
Yes.
And he basically said, well, everything that I said in my letter to him was true, that the unit hadn't been working for a while, and that John Golick, who's Sheila's supervisor, would be the person to really follow up with that. And he did say, and of course we know this, that Aegis has a contract to monitor and make sure that the unit is working correctly. So Dan Bombaro, I think you're aware of that, and I think you have. I mean, I don't. If the unit is down, and it has been, and Dave Gavin responded to Sean's email earlier today, saying that the utilization is well under 90%, which is where it ought to be. Has been many times in the past couple of years, including as recently as May and June. So in May, it was 31%. In June, it was 62%. And who knows what it's going to be in July. So I guess my question to Dan Bombaro is, why is that happening? Is Aegis aware that it's happening? They ought to be. And what are they doing about it?
Great questions, of course. Again, Sean was just, reaching out to the staff there to see what's going on. I will be meeting at some point soon with John and Sheila to kind of go over the operations of the unit within the facility. And at that point, we'll likely be engaging with Aegis to see what they're performing for regular monitoring of the unit, which is something that they are contractually obligated to do.
There you go. Now we pay them to monitor and report, right?
Much of it is more of on the maintenance side. The monitoring is critical to be able to do the maintenance appropriately, because it's based on the unit's usage, running hours. So in
Okay.
order for them to know when to come and tune it up, they should be monitoring the operations, and again, it behooves them to do so.
Actually, it sounds like it would favor them not to do it. The less operation, the less maintenance intervals.
Out of curiosity, in the contract that we signed with them, is there any uptime requirement and or penalty? And is there any production requirement and or penalty?
Good question.
No.
Is that true?
I would have to look at the contract. I wouldn't want to speak to that without looking at it.
Fair enough. And I think you
In a general term, I mean, a contract like that, Ryan, is more of like, it's a performance-based contract, much the same that we have with the next era solar array, where it's not something that's owned by us. This was a purchase outright product that the town invested in. They did Aegis when they contracted with the town. They did estimate performance. However, its performance is in part been identified as being an issue with our boiler, our primary boiler going down when we run on secondary. We've been able to identify that's wherein lies the problem. So
Okay.
I could definitely look at the contract, and we will be reviewing that with Aegis in the short term.
Okay.
How often are they supposed to? How often are they supposed to report? Is it a monthly
I-
report?
I don't know that there's a reporting obligation. I know that Dave Gavin's been really on top of getting that information from them.
Well, actually, they stopped reporting to me about 8 months ago.
And they have had, I will say that they have in the last couple of years, much like a lot of other companies have had a lot of turnover and a lot of people leaving. So they did recently in the last year become absorbed by another company as well.
I
I
mean,
think
what-
I was expressing my frustration last month when maybe you could sense it. It just seems like there's too much. This is not rocket science, okay? You got a machine that's supposed to run 90% of the time. And when it's not, nobody seems to know. I mean, Sheila maybe doesn't know, or John doesn't know, and surely Sean Kimball doesn't know. And I guess David only knows when he checks in and looks at it. And I don't know about you, Dan Bombaro, but it's not that difficult if somebody is supposed to be responsible for monitoring it. And if it's ages and they're supposed to do it and they're not, that's a problem. But it shouldn't be that difficult to get some kind of an alert. Maybe we need to put some kind of a call out alarm on there so that when the engine stops, we get a page or a beep or a telephone call or something so that we know that it's not running.
Well, while it does, I mean, you'd have to, I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. And the unit doesn't run necessarily 24 hours a day. It will run 23 hours out of that 24-hour day. However, in that there's intervals where it will go off, up to 15 times in a day, say.
Okay, so then we should then monitor the kilowatt hour production. And it's a 35 kilowatt unit, and times 24, multiply it out. And if you don't get at least, I don't know, 80% of it or 90%, then it signifies this is a problem. I mean, there's got to be some way that Sheila and John and Sean and Dan Bombaro and Dave Gavin and Rich O'Gurk know that the darn thing's not working. Other than you look at a monthly report, you see that it's only got 33% utilization. You say, well, what happened? Right? Because we're losing a lot of money. We have the opportunity to save $40,000 a year. It has to run 90% to get that. It's not happening. We spent $175,000 on this thing. Dave, what do you got to say? Anything? What's your idea?
You saw my second memo. I think what's happening is that we got two boilers and the unit. Okay. Yeah. Once the big boiler is actually used only to heat the water up from when they refill it and stuff like that. The smaller boiler, which is more efficient, it maintains the temperature of the water and the atmosphere of the building. Now, if that goes down, it switches to the big one. Whereas you're supposed to set the priority to keep the cogen unit running all the time. And I think what happens when that switch happens, when something goes wrong with that smaller boil, that it stops working, the other one stops working, the cogen, and it doesn't automatically come back up when it's switched back.
Yeah,
it's a programming deal.
I get that. There's any number of reasons why the unit would go down. What we want to know is it went down.
And the problem is nobody is responsible to make sure it goes back up.
Well, that's not true, according to Sean Kimball. John Golick is responsible.
Oh, okay.
And John has used the services of Dan Bombaro and possibly other people in Public Works. So says Sean Kimball. And I know that Dan has been involved in the last couple of years, and so have you, Dave. But it seems to me like when it goes down, we don't find out about it for a couple of months, and then you look back at a report and it says, 33% or 32%. What good is that? We need to know when it goes down, and get it fixed. And I think what Sean was saying, if you read between the lines, is that Aegis is responsible for monitoring and repairing that unit when it's down. Is that true, Dan?
Well, they're supposed to respond if there's an issue with it not running. And that would, it not running trigger, it should trigger something on their side.
And how
At
would
the very least, contact us to say, hey, it's not running.
how would Aegis know that it's not running?
They have a line of communication to the device. They have an IP link to it. So
Is
they
it real
have,
time? Is it real time, or does somebody have to go in and look at it? In other words, do they get an alarm if the unit goes down?
I don't know how their system's programmed, but they do have an open IP to it. So they should be able to track it real time.
Well, they should be. Yeah, I agree, but they're not. Or if they are,
Or somebody's just not monitoring it.
Or they can't turn it back on, obviously.
Well, even if they didn't have a remote to turn it back on, I mean, one would imagine that they would communicate something to the facility itself to say, hey.
yeah, or Sheila would open the door one day and there'd be a guy from Aegis saying, hey, your unit's not running. I'm here to fix it.
Last time I talked to Sheila, which was about a month ago, she said she has nothing to do with it all, with the cogen unit. It's all Aegis's responsibility. So,
Well, there's part of the problem, because that's not what Sean said.
I mean, every once in a while, if I'm in that park, I used to go with the grandkids. I'd go over there and listen to see whether it's running, you know?
It's pretty quiet.
It is very quiet. You have to go right up there and listen. I'm sure you can hear it from inside, maybe. I'm not sure.
So Dan Bonbaro, are you, I think I heard you say that you were going to be meeting or hearing from Aegis.
We're going to be working with John and Sheila to, through the manager's office. I will be working with John and Sheila to work to
Well, but maybe you can
better
ask,
management of this.
maybe you can ask Aegis some of the questions that were raised.
Absolutely.
Uh,
I mean, the crux of it is that they need to provide some clarification. We need to review their contract with them, and
right.
Is
We
that
want
an
the unit to
annual
run
contract?
90%. Would the unit should be running 90% of the time, minimum. And
No,
it's
is that contract paid monthly, annually?
I believe it's an annual.
It's
contract,
a 10-year deal, but
I believe it's an annual contract.
well, somebody should say,
Yeah.
hey, listen, not
yeah.
getting paid because it ain't working.
Yeah, and we'd spent a lot of time talking about this, and it is a little drop in the bucket. $40,000 out of a budget of 110 million or whatever. It's nothing, but it's something. It's a little bit of savings, and it justifies $175,000 capital expenditure. So, and it seems like it should be an easy problem to solve. So, but we've been talking about.
I think the internal expectation is that the fixing of our unit would have resolved the issues. Now that we can take a deeper dive into discussing with Aegis their responsibilities, I believe that the smaller unit was repaired. That's been an on again, off again issue with procurement of parts and such of that nature. That's kind of caused.
You mean the boilers?
The Loch Navar boiler, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's pretty convenient. It's like your finger point. It's not us, it's the boilers. No, it's not the boilers, it's the unit, it's the controls. I mean, somebody's got to get to the bottom of it and find out what the heck is really going on. I hope you'll help us take care of that. All right, so let's go to the next. Well, okay, I have here a letter to Sean Kimball, but I think you all saw the letter and you saw his response. Just make note of the fact that I did reach out to Sean. Sean was kind enough to look into the matter and get back to us. That's all we can do right now. All right, B, benchmarking. No Chris Smith, huh? Okay, maybe Chris will pop in later on and we'll come back if he does to this item. C, publicity.
I could give you a little bit on that if you want. I did
Okay.
talk to Chris.
Okay.
got Chris in contact with Rich Clavette, who's working to prepare some of the information that was missing from the Board of Ed side. I also got in contact with Dave Milano from the wastewater pollution control plant, who did provide a good amount of information that was needed, that was missing on that side, specifically the inflow, outflow to the plant. That was all provided to Amy Thompson and her team for updating the data within the portfolio manager.
Yeah, and just before this meeting, there were a couple of emails, one from Fiona Pearson and one from Amy Thompson. And of course, Fiona is hopeful that we can get this all done so they get their silver certification next month in August. And Amy is saying that we need to get 2 years worth of data out of the last 3 years to qualify. So it's not, so I don't know how much data we have in that.
I think whatever was requested, they were able to provide on that side, the WPCD side. I know that Rich was working on the school side, how much he needed. I don't think he had to go back 2 years specifically, but we'll know, I think by tomorrow. Amy identified in her email earlier that they were meeting and they'd be discussing this specifically. So hopefully by tomorrow, we'll have a little bit more information to work with.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know if Chris can add anything to that. Maybe I can get in touch with him tomorrow if he doesn't join us this evening and see where we stand. But it sounded like there were 4 facilities that needed to be updated, but then in Amy's list, there looked like there might have been 6 or 7. So I don't. Okay. Fall festival under item C. Well, I shouldn't skip that far ahead. Okay, so item C is publicity, education, and outreach. News articles and letters to the editor. I'm not aware of any. Chris Smith was supposed to be working on some kind of an outreach piece that I haven't seen, so I don't know what the status of that is. The fall festival, we said last month we would go ahead and do that. So Dan Bombero, you weren't on the call last month, but can you make arrangements for a table and tent or whatever for the Energy Commission, and then talk with the guy from Environment who said that they would like to share it, so we could split the cost, or if there is a cost. I'm not even sure if there is a cost, but we would like to. We have done this before. We've shared a booth or a table or a tent or some space with Environment. And the chairman of the Environment Commission contacted me and asked if we would be willing to go in with the halves.
Do you know if they've engaged on getting a table yet, or?
I don't think they've done anything yet. I wish I could remember the guys. Ann, do you know who the chairman of the Environment Commission is?
No, actually, I don't.
I'll check with the manager's office, Rich,
You
to
know-
see the process. I've never been involved in that before, but I'll check with them to see what the process is.
What we've done in the past is we've gone through the Chamber of Commerce to obtain the table. And I thought there may be a tent that we have. So I can help you, Dan.
Okay, Dan, I'm talking to you like you've done this before, but
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys haven't been there because of COVID.
no,
Yeah, I haven't
yeah,
been.
I did get George took over for a while. Tim,
Walter Gankard.
Yeah, we always just we go and contact the Chamber of Commerce, and then we've always filled out an application on behalf of the Energy Commission.
Okay, so Dan
And
and
Albert,
Dan
Albert
and Ann,
Buell
you
is
put
the
your heads
chairman.
together and
Was that Dan?
Albert Buell is the chairman.
you're talking like you're on the moon. What?
Albert Buell is the chairman of the Environment Commission.
Yes, Buell. Yeah, that's his name. Yep, that's his name. He and I had a conversation a couple of months ago, actually. He said he'd like to have us go in with him, and I said we would check to see if we were going to do anything at all, which we talked about last month. We all agreed that we get Ann, are you there? Ann, can you hear me?
She's there. I see her.
Did everybody get bumped or just me?
I got kicked off.
Everybody.
I think.
Everybody get bumped. Ann, are you okay?
And we shuffled the deck.
And it doesn't look like, did everybody come back?
Hey, we can actually see Dave now, though.
Yeah, but I'm still frozen.
But before, my screen was black for you, so I can actually see you now.
Well, we're making progress.
Ann, are you with us
Yep.
verbally at least? No?
Dan Bombaro or Dan Knutson?
Ann
Oh,
McBain.
Ann.
Ann, are you muted or, there you go.
Okay.
Model.
Hey, Rich, is the environment and the sustainability and the energy commission, shouldn't they all be in one booth or what's going on there?
I don't know what's happening with Sustainable Cheshire, but the Environment Commission and Sustainable Cheshire are two different groups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the same objectives, obviously, or similar anyway.
Yeah. Okay,
thanks.
so I think we're all back, right?
Yes.
David Gavin is,
Sorry about that. It was something with the Zoom program itself that caused it just to go.
yeah, it said the free session had ended.
Yeah.
I thought maybe, you only had a certain number of minutes on the free and you.
It gave you 10 minutes to,
Okay, all right, so did Ryan come back?
He's there.
There's Ryan, okay, we got our quorum still?
Ryan O'Grady's here.
Okay, all right, so then last month we did, everybody kind of said, okay, I can spend some time. I'll work a half an hour, I'll work an hour. I hope that everybody is still willing to pitch in.
Yep.
Right, Dan Knutson, right, Ryan? A little bit, okay, good. Dave Gavin,
No, I'm gonna be out of commission.
every year. Come out from behind that black curtain, would you please?
No. I'm gonna be in the hospital, actually.
Oh, man.
Good luck with that, Dave.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go forward with that, and Ann and Dan are gonna put their collective wits together and hopefully get us a table.
I'll give Ann all the credit right now.
Okay. All right, so now the last item here is, last item, but under this subject is the net zero letter, which I apologize, Dan Knutson. I told you I would send you some edits, but I didn't, but I will. I don't know if anybody else has seen this besides me.
I don't think so. So why don't I do this? I made a couple more edits.
Okay.
So instead of you editing that one, why don't I send around the
Okay.
newest version and let everybody comment.
Okay, let's do that. All right, that's a good idea. Okay.
I tried to keep it short, to maybe get more people reading it, but I'm open for any input, you know.
Okay, once we finalize it, Ryan, I think you put it onto the Cheshire Forum last time, right? Yeah, okay. And we should do that again.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, good. Under clean energy, do we have anything new to report, Dave Gavin? New municipal energy efficiency opportunities, solar carports, PV arrays, charging, anything that we can report? I don't think we have. Dave, Gavin?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, speak up.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay. We're going to skip all the way down. How about tree trimming? This is under the energy reliability. Dan Bombero, anything?
Nothing specific to report as to location, but I can't say they still are in town.
Okay. They are still in town? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, they've been on South Main. Seems like this past week.
Okay. Item H, Coalition for Sustainable Cheshire, we touched on several times tonight. Fiona is relying on our assistance in getting the certification, which will come as a result of updating and completing the tasks that Amy Thompson has indicated need to be. And Chris Smith is supposed to be working on that. Dan Bombero, you got some input on that as well, but Chris says that he has touched base with Amy. I don't know.
Yeah, he certainly has.
Okay. And I guess the only other thing that I wanted to mention is I talked with Tucker. We had lunch together several weeks ago, and he wants to distribute some information at the fall festival concerning energy and the environment. He told me that he's got some reservations about using climate change as a justification for doing any energy projects. I mean, there are other justifications, but he's struggling with climate change. It's not fair for me to speak on his behalf, but I can tell you that he and I did meet, and he had all kinds of graphs and charts and documentation that indicated that, well, right or wrong, that the climate's not changing. It changes with a normal cycle, and it goes up and it's down, and temperatures are up and down and whatever. And I think I might have mentioned to you all that I read a book years ago called State of Fear by Michael Crichton. I don't know if anybody else has heard about it or read about it, but
Yeah, I read it.
It's kind of an eye opener, but it's a fiction. I mean, and I don't know whether Tucker's graphs and tables and charts are fictional or what. He asked me what I thought. I said, first question I would ask is, how reliable is this information? I mean, I don't know. I mean, today you can get just about any data of any sort to justify your agenda. So, but he's convinced that there is no, he showed me a graph of the last 300 million years. And he showed, this is crazy, right? 300 million years of CO2 in the atmosphere. And it has gone down, 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 all the way from where it was 300 million years ago to a level right now, which is dangerously close to the survival of vegetation, because we all know that vegetation, for its to grow, it requires CO2, right? So, I mean, I know you're smiling and you're kind of chuckling to yourself. All I'm saying is that that was the sum and substance of my meeting with Tucker. And
Hey, who's Tucker? Wait, who's Tucker?
Who's Tucker is
George.
George Deming, George Tucker Deming. He's the newest energy commissioner.
Oh,
Yeah, he's been on the last couple of meetings. So I don't know. He seems to be struggling a little bit, and I know Dan Knutson is probably shaking his head like, what's this all about? But like I said, there is. You could pretty much spin anything you want any way you want nowadays, and I don't know, where do you go for the truth? Where's the truth? I don't know. I don't know what media source. I don't know. I'm not saying Tucker's wrong. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying he has this take on things that he wants to discuss with everybody. Or that, I don't know if he wants to, but I'm going to make him discuss it so that you get it directly from him.
yeah,
But I think
the thing is, I mean, why is there oil in Alaska? That's because it used to be a jungle 4 million. I mean, it's obvious that there is cycles in the environment. I think we're talking about microcycles now, cycles within cycles. And obviously it's changed. That oil didn't come from nowhere. It came from decomposing animals and vegetation up in the Arctic area,
Yeah, but you talk to a geologist. I mean, no, Alaska was not where it is now.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can we get the meeting over so I can do my kid stuff? Thanks.
Yeah. And again, I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought I owed it to Tucker to at least bring it up because we did have a meeting offline. I will leave it to him to take it wherever he thinks he needs to take it. But I know that he wants to distribute something at the fall festival, and to the extent that it doesn't conflict with our agenda or our mission, I think we should let him do it. But I mean, there are other reasons why you would want to have energy efficiency and sustainability and energy independence. So, okay.
But we're not going to distribute denying the climate change. I mean,
no, I don't think we're going to distribute. Well, we've got one more meeting before then, at which he has the right to voice his opinion. That's all it is, and we'll have a chance to review it at the next meeting, and you won't be surprised when he brings it up. That's all I've got for this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
All right, I already sent that letter.
Good, thank you. Ryan's making a motion. He wants to get out. Anybody else seconded?
I'll second it.
Okay, Dan Knutson. All in favor, I presume?
Aye.
Great. See you next month. And please make an attempt to come, because this is an important subject to undertake. All right. Thank you.